Covering you from your LB1 to your taxi squad, this is IDP Nation.
Manning back, pumps, he fires to the far side. It's intercepted and running into a touchdown.
Your home for the best in IDP and draft coverage.
Daniel has time in the pocket, steps up, and he's going to be hit from the side, and he's going down. That's a sack.
Welcome back to IDP Nation. I'm Hollywood Titan. I'm joined by Sean, and we got another guest tonight, the great Mike Woellert. How's it going, Mike?
Good, man. What's going on? How's things going?
Yeah, just chilling, digging into some of these rookies now that the draft has took place, and we know where everybody's kind of landed at. We talked a little bit last week about them, but the more I dig into them, the more I want to change my rankings. And I probably will in another month or when we get closer to camp. I'll probably do another set of rankings. But for now, I think I'm okay with them.
Yeah, I kind of started right after. When did I start? I kind of started in January, I guess a little bit before, after the Super Bowl, and I didn't know what to expect from this class. I'm like, all right, looks like a decent edge rush class. The linebackers, I'm like, oh God, am I really going to find? But as I looked, like when I started pre-combine, I'm like, okay, this is a pretty good class. And then I did more and more, and then combine happened. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to let the combine sway what I have seen and what I've already watched and what I've already noticed. I'm going to try like hell not to. The one thing that I look back at, like, my pre-combine. I didn't do any pre-combine rankings. I just did like a just like a linebacker review. And when I went into it, I was surprised that I didn't look at Schlesinger yet. But this was like maybe 4 weeks before the combine. So, I mean,
right.
But then I looked at, then I was like, okay, I heard the name. I'm like, all right. And then I looked at his tackle numbers. I'm like, oh, okay. I got on my radar, but I was bummed that he didn't run the combine. But boy, he was one that started to stand out. But then I realized, you know what? I'm going to be lower than consensus on Jalen Walker and Mike Williams, and I am okay with it. I am just fine with it. I'm not gonna, Dane Brugler is good at what he does, and all these guys are good at what they do, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna trust my eyes. I know what I see, and I'm planting my flag that this is where I'm gonna plant my flag. And I say, hey, if you like him, I'm not going to tell you not to draft him, but this is what I see.
Yeah. Well, this morning when I sent you my rankings, and you was like, "Wow, dude, your rankings on those two," and I was like, "Oh no, this is not good."
No, I was like, dude, I think I think you were maybe one of the first rankers I saw that had both of them, I think, outside of the top 15. And then I looked at ADP, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm already like fading these guys, but I'm like, all right, I just know what I see. And and I was convinced that people just saw his Texas game, and I'm like, oh, they're like, all right, yeah, elite, done. And I'm pretty sure that that's not the case, but I'm like, I'm convinced that they all just watched Texas, and that was it. Where he had like 8 tackles and three sacks, and that was the only game that they watched. Like, yep, athlete. But so I'm either going to be totally right or I'm going to be wrong. I don't think there's any in between with those two. There's not. I don't think there's going to be a middle with either of those two guys. And
see, that's where I'm at, and that's why I had them so far down. I was like, I was like you. I was like, well, when I first made my list, the first 10 or 12 that hit me, and they were both in it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And I didn't have them ranked. I was like, so here's my initial 10 or 12. And then I started digging into it and kind of starting to rank them. And I'd add a player, and I was like, all right, where does this guy fit? How do I like him? And before I even knew it, I had him almost out of the top 20 almost. And I was like,
and that's how I was. I'm like putting together. I'm like, all right, I got my tier 1. It's one guy, and then I got 2, and then I got 4, and then all right, and then next thing I know, Walker and Michael are completely out of the top 20, and I'm just like, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I mean, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and then I sent you my spreadsheet too. And this is 18 drafts, I think, that's been sent to me so far. So it's not mock drafts; it's actual drafts.
Yeah,
and they're sitting right behind each other. Walker is going at an average of 29, and Williams is going at an average of 35.
So like these are that ADP is that like
that's
offense
combined.
That's combined. So basically 35th. So basically their average draft position is 35th overall.
Yes.
Way too high.
And I'm looking, that's what I thought. And then I'm looking, I'm like, okay, so that's telling me I can get Mike Green almost a full round later. I can get Donovan Ezeruaku almost 2 rounds later. And I love both of those guys a heck of a lot more for Michael Williams.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you want to scroll on that, look at Jack Sawyer. 83rd overall. Jack Sawyer. Yeah, he's at 83 overall.
And
I'll take that back.
And all of those, like, and those guys even after I really liked Ashton Gillette. I really liked Braden Swenson. Baron Sorrell, I liked him because he got on my radar just because of the way he acted after he got drafted. I'm like, all right, this is a dude. I got to look at this dude a little bit more.
Right.
But like, I'm looking at Walker and I'm like, okay. But I'm fully ready to be either right or wrong on both of those, either of those guys.
I'm avoiding Walker at all costs. I just don't see it. It looks like if looking at his sacks, looks like he just happened to be the guy that the quarterback ran into. Like he didn't really go get those sacks.
Right there. Yes. He's I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you saw. I noticed he's athletic and he's athletic. I saw a good QB spy.
Yes.
He's gonna do a good job of kind of watching, kind of the speedier quarterbacks.
Right. But man,
like if he's like an edge, but I don't know. I
don't trust him at edge. I don't trust him at off-ball linebacker.
I don't either.
He's not great at either. Where you take a guy like Parsons, you can put him anywhere, and I'm like, he's top 12 no matter where you put him. And Walker,
when I first watched him, I think I watched him as an edge, and I'm like, this is not an edge rusher.
No,
I don't see an edge rusher here. And then I'm like, all right, I'm seeing him as a linebacker off ball. Let me kind of look at him as an off ball. And I'm like, okay, he's
right.
He's not, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I'm like, if the Panthers want Luke Kuechly, draft Carson Schlesinger, not Jalen Walker.
Right.
But he's oof.
I'm with you.
If he becomes anything, it's like 3 years down, 4 years down before he could look. I think it would take that much work, and it would take a damn good coach to get him there. And I'm not sure the Falcons are equipped for that.
Yeah,
I've always thought Atlanta was the place edge rushers go to die, and that kind of stinks for Pierce. But it just seems like that's a place where edge rushers kind of go to die.
I still have a lot of hope for Pierce, but
I do
right.
too. I do too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping kind of the talent and the traits went out.
Right. Welcome, Jamie. Welcome, Mace, to the show. You had mentioned something, Mike, about a player. We were talking about ADP. So where did the question go? Jamie says he took Mike Green at 214 in a 32-team combo league. What's your
thoughts? I mean, 32 teams, anything goes. I mean,
right.
Yeah, if you identify kind of a different guy, that's a different animal. If you identify a guy that you like in a 32 team, because if you liked Mike Green, there's no way you're getting him. There's probably no way he's getting back to you. I would imagine in a big league like that.
Yeah, so if you're 32 teams and you're at 214, I'm assuming you're doing the repeating round, so that would put you at 46. Yeah, I don't think he makes it back to you.
I wonder if his offensive line in that. I would hope so.
I don't know. May says Mike Green is a gamble, but he's falling, so he likes it.
Couldn't have landed in a better situation in Baltimore because I mean, there's a bunch of guys that are going to shape him right up.
Yeah. I know he's got some off the field questions that kind of made him slide. There was a little concern that he only had the 1 year at James Madison or not James Madison. Where did he go to school?
Marshall?
My brain just went blank. Marshall. Thank you.
Yeah.
He only had the 1 year of production at Marshall. But what I saw out of that 1 year with the fit in Baltimore, I like it. I think it's going to translate well. Like I said, if he can stay away from the off-field stuff and just focus on football, I think he's a good fit for them.
I mean, he held up well against Ohio State. And Ohio State, decent offensive line. He had a pretty good game against Ohio State. So, I mean, I don't know. I he's, again, kind of one of those – I think that, I think you kind of gamble on the traits, and there's the production. He had the production.
Right.
Baltimore's not just going to turn him loose either. I mean, they're pretty protected.
Yeah.
With their rookies. They don't just throw him in there. It took Oweh, how many years before they really gave him a decent share? Ojabo, even before the other injuries, he wasn't thrown in there very much. They're bringing all the old guys in, the Houstons and Dumervilles or whoever else they could find. So yeah, they don't just toss them in there. That's another thing that's got me a little worried about Buchanan. I know a lot of people are wanting him to kind of take over Simpson's spot. I can see a split there, but I don't think he would just. They're not just going to throw him in there and let him have it. I don't think.
Right. So Walker just signed for $20 million, Mace says, and no, and Mace says he's an outside linebacker who can play edge, but not in a full-time role. He's going to have to get some plays and coverage to be fantasy relevancy. I would agree with that.
Yeah. I think I said he's more. I think he's more Nolan. He's more Nolan Smith than than a line like than a true off ball. That's kind of how I see him.
And if Atlanta was going to do this, they should have done the opposite of what they did. They should have took Pierce where they took Walker, and if they really thought Walker was the guy, then trade back in for him. I just think Pierce is. I don't know what you.
No, I mean, I had a bunch of guys, but I like Pierce. I think pre-draft and post combine pre-draft, I think I had Pierce as my fourth. I think my top five was Eziraku, Carter, Green, Pierce, and I Josiah Stewart fifth.
Right, and see a lot of Pierce. Well, he had the drop-off last year. The sacks and the pressures weren't there. Well,
yeah,
you're playing – you have to kind of go back and look because me being a Vol fan, I get to see this. But the first 3-4 games of the season, the Kent States and who you're playing, he only played a half, if that. There was a couple of games early. He only played like a quarter and a piece of the second quarter. So,
yeah,
I mean, if they would have left him in there for 4 games, he's getting numbers probably even better than what he had last year. I like the fit in Atlanta. I mean, they know they have a problem at edge rusher, and they doubled down on that. I just don't know about the Walker deal, but
yeah, I think one of the writers had Walker and Floyd as the top 2, and then had Pierce and Ebiketie as kind of rotational guys.
I would have that the opposite.
I probably would too. I think my talked about. Oh, go on.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think honestly though, one of my biggest surprises was Jay Higgins.
Yes.
I kind of had like because when I watched him, I saw a guy who could probably run a high 4.6, low 4.7s. But he looked like he was like He didn't look like he ran healthy. I don't know. When he ran, it looked like he was like favoring some. I don't know. If I was his agent, I would have told him not to run. But I did not see him going undrafted. I mean, I'm like, he's a top 200 player.
Yeah.
But him
maybe
going
there's
totally
an injury or
undrafted,
something we don't know about. Because, he did look like he was laboring a little bit when he was running.
But they didn't do him any favors. They hurt his stock quite a bit by not pulling him or.
No, and that's what I thought. I was like, I wouldn't run him. His agility drills were good. I mean, he did pretty good with his agility drills. I think his 3-cone and shuttle were fine. But I wouldn't have run him in the I probably would have told no, you don't need to run.
Yeah, that's anything that's going to hurt you, we're not going to do. It's that simple.
I got one for you.
Okay.
I like him personally. I love the landing spot. And I was like, okay. When I put my spreadsheet for the draft position here, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting to see kind of what everyone is thinking on him. And, where do I need to take him? Because I really like him. Andrew Makuba.
Yeah.
Philadelphia. And I was thinking, okay, how early am I going to have to take him? And I don't know that I'm going to have to take him early. I mean, right now his average is 67 overall. And I don't get that. I don't understand what it is that I'm not seeing or what it is everyone else is seeing. Because I think he's going to be a fit in Philadelphia with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell and those linebackers. I mean, all he's got to do is just plug himself in and play.
Yeah, he's another guy I think that I got on late. I wrote a profile on him. No, that's my dog. Sorry. I was hoping it wouldn't appear, but geez, I'm about to just give her a melatonin and shut her up. But
she's fine. She's fine.
But no, he got on my radar late. He had good production, good ball skills. I don't think his path to snaps isn't horrible. I mean, I think in one of the depth charts they have him behind McCollum. I think he is more of a. I don't know. I think he can play anywhere. I think he can play near the line and deep. So I think he's one of those tweener safeties that can kind of play the box roll and play too high.
Yeah, I think that's part of the knock is that they do play a lot too high, so it does kind of devalue them and Big Fangio's defense there a little bit. We want the guys up near the line of scrimmage to get all those tackles, for our safeties and whatnot. So maybe that's what's dropping him back, or maybe it's because he's too much of a tweener that we don't really know where they're going to put him, and so if we're not sure, it's best to kind of let him fall a little bit.
Yeah, right. I think I have him. I have him as my safety 6. I do have him within my top 30. Actually, just outside of my 30. I have him at 31. He's my safety 6.
See, I've got him at 2. Now I think I'm way too high on him.
I'm going to be honest. I have not been good at figuring safeties out. 2 years ago,
safeties stink. All DBs stink, but they're tough.
My record's not good, so I can't.
They're tough. I mean, I think I'm looking at. I think I might have Starks too high because I've got Starks as my safety too.
I think I have Watts above Starks.
See, I've got Starks at 1 as my safety.
See, I got him in worry. I got him in worry at 1.
I've got Starks, Makuba, Emmanuel, Winston Jr., and Jonas Sanker as my top 5 safety.
I do like Sanker.
I like the Winston Jr. call. I'm hoping his medicals are okay. But I don't mind I think I have Winston as my safety 5, but my top 5 is Manwari, Starks, But I'm with you, Sean. I think he's going to play deep. I think Hamilton is going to still remain kind of that overhang type line of scrimmage safety.
Yeah,
I got Watts 3, and I've got Ransom 4, and Winston 5.
I really don't.
Winston may have fell into a gold mine. I mean, Tennessee
I
is
think
so
too. Yeah,
talent deprived.
Yes.
Who knows what they do with Amani Hooker? I mean, Amani Hooker and Big Jeff Simmons, are the 2 longest tenured Titans on the team. That should tell you what kind of depth they have.
Yeah.
There's really nobody.
4 safeties out there.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how bad the linebackers are in front of them.
Yeah. I know Sean plays mainly redraft. I don't know how much you play, Mike.
I'm mostly redraft. I'm trying to do a little bit more. I'm trying to just kind of think more dynasty. So that's why I kind of threw out the rankings. So I'm kind of trying to think about dynasty because, I'm also, not only am I writing at IDP show, I started my own Substack. So I wanted to do a little bit more writing and a little bit more of the profiles because I was evaluating so many of these guys. So I'm like, I got all these thoughts in my head and I can send it out now on my own if I want to. So,
yeah. See, I'm geared the other way. I play mainly dynasty. I have a few redraft leagues or, best balls, whatever. I was thinking there was another name.
I get to play Mike a lot, so I know he loves his linebackers.
I do love linebackers.
So I don't know how much position specifically do you play in redraft, which is defensive tackles and corners.
Yes.
But Mason Graham in these leagues is going at 41 overall. So he's just ahead of Pierce, just ahead of Nick Martin, Stutzman, Mike Green, Shamar Stewart, Ezaraku. 41 for a defensive tackle. Man, that's
rich. That's a little too rich. And I don't even think I don't have Graham as my top DT either.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because his stats weren't there. He's a game wrecker, but it doesn't translate to stats. Unfortunately, that's what we need to get points.
Right. Yeah. You don't get points for double team
3 guys. Yeah.
I didn't have him as my DT1 at any point. I saw a pretty good football player. I liked Walter Nolan much more.
See, that's me.
After, and then I saw Derek Hardman's combine, and I looked into him. I liked Harmon a little bit more. Which again, I'm pissed the Steelers got Harmon. So that's kind of I think he's a better interior lineman, and he can get to the quarterback. Him and Nolan, I think, are better like rushers than Graham. I think, like you said, Graham is going to be kind of that stuffer. I think he's going to allow the people behind him to play clean and make plays, and he's going to do his role, and he's going to be fine. And but if you're expecting like 70 tackles and 6 or 7 sacks, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see that happening.
If he gets more than, I'm going to say 4 sacks, and that's starting every game this year, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
And I figure the quarterback runs into 2 of those. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to just go get them. And his tackle numbers were not super impressive either. Like I said, good game record. He's gonna create the hole, and Schwessinger is gonna come up and get all the tackles, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Is there one rookie, I guess, for you two in redraft? Is there one rookie that you're like, I have to go get, regardless of maybe ADP or what everybody else thinks? That you've got one rookie that you're like, in redraft, I think this is a guy I have. Because to me, I feel like redraft and rookies, and maybe I'm wrong because I just don't play enough of it, I kind of feel like your rookies, the value takes a hit because it's immediate return, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't have time to wait. You can't really stash them on a taxi squad. I guess you could, but at some point you have to elevate them during the year, or they're really not worth it. Is there one rookie that either one of y'all are looking at?
It would have to be one of the linebackers or Carter or Pierce, somebody like that. And even then, I'm not taking either one of them real high. Because the redraft, rookies, they don't have a lot of value unless they're a guaranteed starter. And right now, nobody is. We all like Schwessinger, but again, Hicks is still in the way. And, they're kind of a one linebacker deal for the most part. So until we just know somebody's out there getting 100% of the snaps and just can really produce, then, I would probably take Schwessinger as a LB 4-3, somewhere around there. I would take a shot on him then. Carter might take a shot as a edge 2 or 3, but I'm not running out to get many of these guys in redraft. Not this year. Emin Wari probably. I could take him because DBs are anyone's guess, and he's in a perfect spot, perfect system. I might take a shot on him, but I feel like somebody else would too, so I'll probably miss out on him.
Right.
Yeah, I think what I've noticed, and I'm trying not to repeat the same mistakes of the past, but there hasn't been. I think it's been a while, and I don't have the data or anything to back it up, but I think the days of like a Shaq Leonard as a rookie coming in and playing 1,000 snaps, or these linebackers coming in at rookie linebackers playing 1,000 snaps, I think are because Edge Cooper was like drop dead, but he didn't really start playing until midway through the season.
Right.
Friggin' dominated. It's like, why isn't this guy playing earlier? You saw a friggin' player,
right? But he has value this year, but not last year.
Oh yeah, I know what I mean. Like it wasn't for this year, but I think I'm trying to leave with Schwessinger. Everything that I'm kind of seeing, I am not sure JOK plays this year.
I'm going forward with the assumption he's done.
I'm like done. Like
done.
Like career over.
Yeah.
After that neck injury, I think they interviewed Jordan Hicks, and I think he used the term it would be a miracle if he, is able to come back, and that's not a word you want to hear. So I think he came into the facility in April at some point, but they're like, everybody was like, "Oh, great!" Now, and they're like,
"No." He's standing there talking. That's not. That's nothing.
And I think the fact that they took Schwessinger when they did kind of tells you a little. Right?
And Hicks is long in the tooth too. Hicks is up there. I think he's in his he's getting up in that early 30s.
He is not injury proof either. Yeah. And then you got Bush, who has some legal issues.
Got arrested. And they just give him a fully guaranteed contract.
Right.
So, if he needs some more signs that he's probably going to play really quickly right away, the signs are there. And
I love him for Dynasty. Love it.
It's a great spot.
It's a great. Oh, yeah.
The line in front of him is, Graham's going to eat up 2 guys.
Yep.
I think Tomlinson, he's still there, right? Dalvin Tomlinson's he's still there eating up a few guys.
Oh, who did we just picked up somebody, but I want to say Shelby Harris.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Malik Collins. Shelby Harris is there, but we just got Malik Collins.
Yes, Malik Collins.
It'll probably be Collins and Graham. Yeah, it'll probably be Collins and Graham.
So May says Nick Martin is so undervalued right now.
I completely agree. Yes,
I do too.
He got on my radar. He got on my radar late, and he's undersized. That's the only thing he's undersized. If he was 6'1", 6'2", he probably would have been. He would have gotten a little bit more run, but since he's undersized, but dude can play football. He's a nice 40, good athletic score. That's what I saw. That just another athletic guy, and especially with Greenlaw out, he's got a really quick path. He's got a really quick path to snaps. D. Winters is a guy. So
you like his value at 43 overall in rookie draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I think I think as we get deeper, though, I think that number is going to start to get lower or higher, however you want to talk about it. And I think if you don't get in on him now, I think he's going to be a little bit too pricey later on.
Yeah. He made. I think he made. Did he? I don't think he made my top 10 linebackers. I think he just missed. But the one guy who I was more bold on. I think I had pre-draft Jackson Woodard at 9.
He's already on his second team.
He's already on his second team. All right.
But I like that fit though in Houston.
I do too.
Yeah.
Houston is looking like a place that I will be avoiding for linebacker right now.
I don't have a problem with that take. I mean, would even with Al-Shaair? But
I would take a stab at him, but yes. I'm not touching the rest of it.
I'm not touching it. No, me too.
It's becoming a mess.
Yeah.
Right. I think the thing with Woodard, you got to put him on your taxi squad. You're going to have to be patient, kind of wait for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's got a chance. I like the fit. I think he has a chance there. For sure.
Head coach is a former linebacker too, so I mean that's
yeah, exactly.
That helps a lot.
I watched because when I was watching Boise State, he did a pretty good job tackling Genty. There was a few spots where he missed because everybody missed, but I think one of the more hilarious things was Jackson Woodard tried to tackle him. Dude literally jumped on Genty's back trying to tackle him. I'm just like, shit, nobody's tackling this guy. There was a swing pass, or there was a play, or was a swing pass, and you saw like all 11 guys swarm on Genty, and they still couldn't. He still gained 5 yards. And I'm just like, this guy, good God, this guy's a beast. Unreal.
So we asked Mace and Steve when they were on last week, and I've got to ask you, and I'm probably going to ask everybody that we have on because it's the elephant in the room. And I feel like, man, I don't even know. I'm just going to ask. So, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Offensively, I think he's definitely a go, right? If you're drafting him for offense.
Yep.
But if you're drafting, I guess it depends on where you can play him, right? Because I've got a home league, and he is the only freaking discussion going right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the way we score it, and it's a dynasty league, you get points no matter your position for anything you do. So if you're a corner and you catch 2 or 3 passes, you get points. If you're a wide receiver and you're out there and you pick something off or get a sack, you get points for it.
Yeah.
Is he in those type of leagues? So many questions here. Is he going to be the ultimate cheat code? I guess, is he going to get enough reps at both positions to be an ultimate cheat code? Because that's my fear, is we've never really seen a player do it on both sides in the pros at length.
Right.
Well,
and if he gets those, and with that scoring, he has the potential to be the number 1 scorer overall.
Yeah. Well, on defense for sure, because if he does have that dual eligibility, even if he's like the 3rd or 4th best receiver on the team, yardage wise, touchdown wise, whatever, that's still going to boost him to like the top of the cornerbacks by points.
Exactly, that's my point. Right. So if you can, I'm thinking in a league, if you can play him at receiver or you can play him at corner, screw playing him at receiver. Yeah. I'm plugging him in at corner and getting I don't know if you're playing, I don't know if you start 3, 4, 5 receivers, I'm plugging him at corner, and that's giving me an extra receiver.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, in my rankings, I'm assuming that he's just a wide receiver. So I'm assuming that he's a wide receiver, and that that's what a lot of the leagues are playing at. Because I just don't know if enough. I don't know if there's enough IDP leagues, but if you think about it, for a rookie, let's just say he catches 65 passes. Okay, so that's 65 points. If you're playing in a PPR, there's 65 points. Right. Let's just say conservatively, he's conservatively 720 yards.
Sure.
So that's 72 points. What is that? 72 points?
Yeah.
Yes, 72. Yep.
Okay, so 72 plus 36.
That's 137.
No.
65.
65.
Yeah.
Plus say 77. So you're already at what, 142?
65 plus 77, yes, it's 142.
Okay.
Just add
conservatively four touchdowns.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns. There's 24
That's
points.
6 points, right?
So there's 24 points.
You're at 166.
So you're at 166, conservative.
Right.
I don't know what else you get points for in offense. Let's just say, 20 rushing yards. 20 rushing yards.
Okay.
So, conservatively as a rookie, he scores 170 points offense.
Right.
Now, I've got him projected defensive-wise for about 320 defensive snaps. So I have him projected for about 15 to 18 per game. So, whatever math, but I've got him at about 320 some odd snaps a game.
But that's not really nothing to sneeze at, though.
No, it's not. No, I mean,
it's
18,
not.
It's not. It isn't for sure. So with the scoring that I'm using the IDP shows their big 3 scoring.
Right.
So with my projections, I have him projected, I think, at about 65 points defensively. So let's just say conservatively, there's 200 points. I mean, where does that kind of put you?
I know I am not putting any money on a sleeper league with IDP. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because they are going to have him at dual eligibility, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm fine with getting both points. I'm fine with the getting points at both positions.
Yeah.
I'm not fine at having him at a cornerback. If I'm putting money on it, I almost have to take him stupid high to not even, to keep everybody else.
In an IDP league, an IDP league rookie draft, he's the 101. I think. I mean, you just whether you
the
like
advantage is too high.
Whether you like him or not, and no, I don't think anything that you think he's probably the 101, 102.
And he's going at average in rookie drafts right now. Next rookie draft, he's going at 3.7.
Yeah.
Is what his average is.
If he falls to you at 3, I'm probably doing cartwheels if he's falling to me at 3.
Yeah, I expect him to be. I'm not upset if you take him number 1, but I expect him to be number 2 in most drafts.
Yeah.
And see, and I'm in a home league where, and that's the reason I'm asking, because we are on hold until we figure out what we want to do in this league, because we've always said,
I think it's just one of those. Maybe you take a league vote. What do we want to do with Travis Hunter?
If it's NFL, you can make him just a wide receiver, right?
Is he going to be wide receiver DB? Is he just going to be wide receiver? Is he just going to be corner? Do we want him getting both points?
Right.
And, just figure it out as a league. Just bring it open to a vote, majority rules.
Yeah, we've already took a vote on as far as the scoring, and it was unanimous. Leave it. Up next is the position, right?
Yeah.
Do we? Because technically, right now, we don't have a limitation on it. We've always played it as whatever position you are listed at on the NFL is what position you are.
Yeah, and MFL doesn't have dual eligibility either, so he's either going to be a wide receiver or a corner, and I think he's going to be a wide receiver, just because I don't think he's going to probably. I think it's projected that he's probably not going to play enough snaps to probably be eligible at corner, but
right.
If he's going to average, is he going to? But the way he's going to score, he could easily average 15 to 20 points a game.
Yeah.
Is there any scenario that you see him getting? Because I'm kind of with you on the snap count, 15 to 18 on defense. Is there any way that I guess there's a way, but do you see a path? Because Jacksonville's really, they're not that good either, right? So
if they're going to, all right, so they've already got a lot invested in moving up to get him, right?
Right.
The smart thing to do would be to leave him at wide receiver, If the game is close and the defense is on the field, then throw him out there. But if it's a blowout and they're getting their ass kicked, I'm not putting him out there. That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
There's no chance to win the game. I'm not going to risk that injury.
Yep.
Well, I wasn't talking like 40, 50 snaps or more. He, like you said, 15 to 18 might be. Is there even just an increase to say 25 a game on defense?
It would have to be a close game, I think, or maybe into overtime to get more defensive snaps. Otherwise, you're putting more strain on a body that's. I mean, I know he did it in college, but the older you get, the more those muscles don't want to move forward and backwards. Running a route and backing up from a route are completely different. That's you're taking so much more injury chances here. And like I said, you've already invested a lot. It'd be stupid to overload him.
And he's what, 6'1", 185?
Yeah, he's kind of thin, small.
And you're playing against grown-ass men. They're going to want to welcome him to the league.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's not a cocky kid. He's not a cocky kid. I mean, he just likes playing football, which
he
is
looks fun. Yeah, he's a fun dude.
He's a fun dude, and he just likes playing football. He's like, I want to play both, and I want to do this. But
I mean, if I'm playing Baltimore,
game is against NFL competition is.
Yeah, that's a.
You're not going to play him against Derrick Henry, right?
Men.
I don't need Derrick Henry to run around the corner, and there's my highly invested rookie playing cornerback
getting trucked.
Yeah.
Holy cow. God forbid that he meets Henry on the outside. That's one
of the dumbest that's not going to be
ever.
Good for anybody.
Yeah, that's going to be rough. Danny Stutzman, thoughts on him in New Orleans? I actually freaking love it.
Yeah, Stutzman in New Orleans.
Davis is kind of on the back end, right? He don't have much left. I mean, he has a couple more years, but you're thinking down the road,
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think there's an opportunity for Stutzman to kind of step in there early. I kind of put him right there with that Nick Martin kind of level. That's kind of where I've got him.
I think it's
I don't mind that. So looking at, if I'm looking at his contract, I think 25 might be his last year
for Davis.
So I think this is his last year, and he's going to be 36.
Yeah.
So 26 just says void UFA. So I think he had a bunch of void years placed on his contract. So I think he's a free agent after this year. So I liked Stutzman's spot because I don't think Pete Werner's contract was any big deal either. I think he gets an out.
Right.
I think there's an out of some way. I think his contract may be only a 1-year deal when you really look at it. But
yeah, I think you're right. I think it had 4 years or an option something. Yeah, for sure.
But Mario, I liked Stutzman's spot. And I think he's a good player. I think he's good in like short zone. I don't think you want him in man coverage. But good play. But yeah, good player. Hit the line. Good tackler. So no, I like Stutzman's spot for sure. But yeah, the linebackers with Davis. Everybody forget he was part of that 2012 class. I mean, it's Davis and
David.
The 12 class was David, Wagner, Kuechly, and DeMario.
Oof, that was a good class. Oof.
Good group of 4 players right
there. Yeah, that was really good. Back to your beloved AFC North.
Beloved. This guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but after playing against Mike for several years and watching him draft, I think he's a closet Dolphins fan.
What? Really? Did I draft Dolphins? Really?
I just want to see what you say. Yeah.
It's awesome. Hey, I don't even remember my drafts. I know I really love Chop Robinson this year, and I really like Jordan Brooks this year. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I am.
but Cincinnati kind of did a Falcon not as drastic as the Falcons doubling up, but they doubled up at linebacker, and they took Demetrius Knight, and then they come back and got Barrett Carter.
Yeah,
I think have Jermaine Pratt. They have Logan Wilson. I kind of feel like maybe they're preparing for Pratt to move on.
Oh, they gave the middle finger to Pratt with those 2 picks. That was a complete middle finger to Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah. But I also wonder if with the Trey Hendrickson thing, right, with him wanting a contract, I almost kind of wonder or feel like could not transition to an edge.
God, I hope not.
In a way.
I hope
not either, but I wonder.
Yeah, I kind of like what Philly might do with Campbell.
I did see some news on that where he has been in there with the inside linebacker, group. So
that's good.
So I think that it does have more to do with Dean's injury, which Campbell's injured himself, but I think it kind of gave him an out for when Dean does come back. Like, hey, we're going to slide him over here, maybe save some face there. But I expect him to be more inside, assuming he's healthy and can start the year and whatnot himself.
See, I was never high on Dean to begin with, and then I was kind of like, okay, last year, he was a little better than what I expected, right?
I think that D-liner problem has a lot to do with it.
True. But I think them taking Campbell that early kind of, like you said about the linebackers of Cincinnati, it kind of tells the story, right? Same with Carson Schwarzenegger and JFK. It kind of tells the story when you're drafting a linebacker that early.
I was very surprised they doubled up with Carter. I actually really I went back and watched Carter again because he looked okay when I first saw him, but I went back and I'm like, okay, I see an okay linebacker. I don't see an athlete.
He's not special.
Guy who can make plays, but then it's like, all right, then I started thinking, all right, it's the Clemson linebacker.
Exactly. That has burned us a lot here lately.
So
thanks,
so I was
Jenny.
like, all right. So I don't know. Maybe it's it's the Clemson linebacker curse, but I really like the Knight pick. Knight made the one play on Jalen Milroe, and I'm like, all right. Where he covered like 20 yards of what looked like in 4 seconds and just like slammed.
Right. A lot of knocks against Knight were about how stiff he kind of looked, and he wasn't as loose or whatever, and which I get. You can see that, but man, he makes it work. That's the thing. Like it didn't seem to hinder him that much.
Climbs ladder, does good in traffic. Yeah, it climbs the ladder, good in traffic.
Through the traffic is what I like. That's key for me there.
I think the knock on him, but I think he actually gained 6 months in age. Because I think they listed his birth date as January. So they were already thinking he was already 25.
Yeah.
He gained 6 months. He gained 6 months in age, so which is good. So I think they were thinking he was already 26. But I think either way, he gained 6 months in age, but I still an older player, but definitely an experienced linebacker. I think he had over 2,500 snaps. So I think he's a guy who's smart and can come in. I also want to say he was a converted. He played either quarterback or wide receiver. He did something before he played linebacker, if I recall correctly.
Quarterback sounds more right.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember right off.
But I do.
We kind of mentioned it.
I did like Knight's. I did like Knight's spot, but no, I think Carter and Knight were a middle finger to Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah, I do too. We kind of mentioned his name earlier, just briefly passing, but Donovan Ezeraku, sorry, in Dallas.
Sure,
he's a my guy. I actually he was a my guy before, and then I think I watched his Pittsburgh tape. I'm like, okay, I think he's my edge one. I think I might have been. I don't like toot my own horn about it. It's like I think I might have been the only one that actually had maybe Ezeraku was one, and that didn't have Carter as one. Little leary on Carter's foot. It's a little leery. I'm a little. it's not a red. It's more of a yellow tint with an orangish tint.
Right.
Not a red flag, but yellowish orange.
We're gonna need a paint expert on the next episode. Is it this color? Yeah.
He's hex code C5X.
Yeah, you go.
Whatever. No, Ezra Rocco, I think I ended up watching his Pittsburgh tape. He just
he's a dude.
Okay, he's my edge. He is a dude.
And if you can tell me I can get him at 57 overall after seeing it, if you go by ADP, I can get him at 57 after you've already spent 29 on Walker, 35 on Williams. I like Carter. I don't think he's generational, but at 20, I'm just not going to invest that price in him, really. Not saying that that's bad, and I'll touch back on him in a minute, but to get Mike Green at 49. If I can get Ezra Rocco at 57, I'm taking that all day long. All day long.
An edge rusher who gets to play alongside Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Yes, he doesn't have to be the number one.
And who's already a little bit more polished, in my opinion, than some of these other guys with a little bit better of a move set, more of a toolkit. He's a little bit more polished.
And he gets to play the Giants twice.
Right?
I mean, a really good bull rush, really good spin move. Really, I mean, he already comes with he needs. I think run defense he might need a little polishing, but as far as an edge rusher,
but as a pass rusher, his tool bag is pretty legit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
he's already comes pretty prepackaged with the if he can develop a few other moves. But I mean, you get to play along Micah Parsons, where you don't have to take on double teams. Okay. Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
Exactly. The thing on Carter, I'm not really super high on Carter, like I mentioned. You kind of mentioned the foot thing as a red flag, orange flag, but looking at this ADP, I kind of wonder if it's the foot thing with him, or if people are kind of leaning more where I am, and because I've heard his name being, he's a generational talent. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't see him being generational, but he's going at an average of pick 20 right now overall, which if you look back, where did it go? Last year, Liatu Latu was the top edge rusher at 25.
Yep.
So he's kind of in that range. But then you had Will Anderson 2 years ago winning at pick 13 on average. The year before, you had Aiden Hutchinson at pick 13.9. The year before that, you had Micah Parsons at 14.7. 2020, you had Chase Young at 12. 2009, you had Nick Bosa at 13.
Yeah, so those guys were at the end of the first round, beginning of the second round.
Right, and he's not really being considered in rookie drafts. He's not getting that same love, if you will. Do y'all think it's the foot thing? Or do you think it's I
think it's a situation.
I don't even think it's a situational thing. I think it's what we talked about earlier. I think it's our rookie's going to play a lot. I don't think Carter's going to play 70 to 80% of the snaps. I think he's a better edge rusher than Kayvon Thibodeau, and I think the Giants do too.
Yes.
But I think it is a matter of snaps and usage right off the bat. So,
I actually love the fit in New York because when the Giants have been at their best, winning freaking Super Bowls, they had legit pass rushers. Lawrence Taylor, freaking Michael Strahan. Not saying that Carter is that, but I think OCU Umenyiora, I think Carter was the right pick for that because I think he is better. Like you said, I think he's better than Thibodeau. I think they make a good pair. But when I was putting this ADP spreadsheet together, I kind of noticed that he just wasn't getting the same love as the Nick Bosas and Parsons and Hutchinson. And it kind of just struck me odd. And I'm like, that kind of seems out of place compared to what I've seen the past few years. It just
I think it may be the foot, and it might be the foot because it's like, all right, if he's already having, and obviously I carry no medical background whatsoever,
Right.
but if he's having a foot issue now, I don't know about you, but as far as edge rushers, they probably put a lot of stress on their feet every play.
I would think so, yeah.
So that's kind of my take is, could it be 3 or 4 years from, I mean, yeah, you could get 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years. You might be able to get 10 years. I mean, I think even someone replied to me like, hey, look at Myles Garrett. Look at what he's able to play. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, that's a great point. But
Different
Myles
dude.
Garrett is a different beast altogether. Does Abdul Carter have that same mentality, same mental, I guess, fortitude to play through things like that if something does end up, if his foot does get worse?
Right.
So yeah, but I don't like, Myles Garrett's a different animal.
Yeah, it's him and everybody
Did it kind of shock you that they didn't stay at 2 and take Carter to put with Garrett?
No, not really. I thought they were going. I honestly thought they were going to take Hunter. But for them to kind of fleece the Jaguars for what they got, I don't hate it at all.
God bless you. I would have.
I mean, I would have been pissed if they moved out of the top 10. I'd have been pissed if they moved out of the top 10.
Right.
But they're able to stay in the top 5. They got a really good football player. Because, I mean, let's face it. I mean, people are pissed. You're like, oh, you could have got a generational player. I'm like, nobody knows what these players are actually going to do.
Sounds good on paper. Looks good on paper.
So you still get a pretty good football player at 5. I think this is one of the first drafts that I can remember in a while that, like, no one could really agree on anything. There really wasn't. I mean, maybe outside Cam Ward didn't settle in until to the top pick until really, later on in the process. But after Ward, there wasn't. I mean, there really isn't. Yeah. There's a lot. It was a really good. There's a lot of really good football players. You know, that's how I looked at it. I mean, they got a good football player and they got an extra first-round pick. Okay,
right.
You can't
and build the trenches too. I mean, that's where it's won and lost. Yeah. Every play it's trenches. You know, it doesn't give us all the IDP stats.
Yeah.
And all the
points, and then they got the 2, and then they got an extra second round. So they got the They had the 2 second-round picks. They got the extra, and then they get the extra first. But Schlesinger totally blew me away. I was not expecting that at all. But even still, looking at the IDP, the ADP, Trey Amos, really?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
he's only been drafted in 1 league, so you need. And I've got a column over here, percentage of leagues drafted. Okay. I've not got it filled out yet, so I'm going to put that in probably this weekend. But yeah, that's an aberration or whatever you call it, because he's only been drafted in 1 league, and that was a position-specific league. Even then, at 22, that's way too rich. So
misclicks happen.
Okay. So again, I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right, someone took Trey Amos 22, and they're like, all right, so I can take Jahdae Barron at almost 60. All right.
Right. What's your thoughts on Cody Simon's Arizona?
I like Simon pre-draft, and I think it's a good spot in Arizona.
Great landing spot, I thought.
Obviously, they're not bringing back Kazir White.
Right.
I mean, Akeem Davis-Gaither is a guy. I mean, yeah, they signed him to a 2-year deal, but I don't think it's like big money. And Matt Wilson is, I mean, he plays in the system well. He fits into that system.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I do like the Simon spot. I liked his tape. I think pre-draft, I know I had Simon within my top 10 pre-draft. So I want to say I can't remember which game stuck out to me, but yeah, no, Simon stood out pretty quick. He stood out in the process. I mean, if anybody knows me, I love looking at linebacker tackles and their tackle rates, and his stood out. And that's why some of these players, I mean, that's why Barrett Carter kind of fell. I'm like, okay, he barely had he was in the 10% tackle rate. Okay.
Right.
That's for
Not
me
great,
not a
yeah.
top 10 guy.
For sure. Yeah, tackle rates, missed tackle rates, those matter. Because if you keep missing tackles, they're not going to put you on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not athletic, you're not,
Right. Athleticism
Right.
gets you a lot. Jalen Walker.
So if you're listening, please send me the links to your rookie drafts, and I'll get them entered on the spreadsheet. I just need the link to it, and I can find all the information. There's one player on my ADP list here, and if I'm not mistaken, he's only been picked once. I don't want to tell you wrong here. He's only been drafted once in 18 leagues so far. But if I remember correctly, Mike, you had him in your top 75. Now, I've not watched his tape. I'm intrigued by it, so I'm going to have to go back and look.
Right.
Ruben Hippo for Chicago, the linebacker.
Yes. Again, he made my list late. I took kind of a side eye to the landing spot. And then, what I think I would, then I watched one of his games. I was able to watch one of his games. Tremaine Edmonds is not great.
Right.
It's not elite, and he's already kind of behind him in the depth chart. And I think Edmonds, let's see.
At some point, they got to get rid of him or Edwards one because of the money.
Edwards, they just re-signed, did they not? Or
Edwards,
Edwards,
they gave an extension to Edwards. Yeah.
Okay.
2 years or something.
Yeah. But let's see if I could bring up. But Tremaine Edmonds.
So
Edmonds is coming up as a free agent at 27, but it says there's a potential out at 26 of a $2.4 million dead cap.
That's not bad at all.
So
that's not,
a couple of those. So those two things, I'm like, okay, you're not going to draft.
Well, when I first saw that, my instant thought was the replacement for Jack Sanborn. I was like, it's cheap, your third linebacker, but yeah, this kind of makes sense on the Edmonds thing. I like that. I got one for you because I'm curious to what your thoughts are. And I'm going to the West Coast.
Okay.
Out there in Los Angeles with the Rams.
Yep.
Now, they drafted Chris Paul from Ole Miss.
Okay.
And then I'm actually shocked that he wasn't drafted.
Same.
But they picked up Sean Dolak from Buffalo. I know with the draft capital, Chris Paul will probably make the team.
Yep.
And maybe I've got some kind of rose-colored glasses on, but I do not see how Sean Dolak does not make this team. I don't see how he doesn't push for a starting job at some point.
I fully agree. I loved Sean Dolak. I am a Sean Dolak apologist, a fan.
Yeah. Yes.
The one thing that dude's all over the field, and the one thing that I also like about him, I think he's an overcomer. And he's a
three-phase guy.
He's a three-phase guy. I think he's an overcomer. I think he's going to play with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, things that you kind of can't match or can't measure.
Right.
If you look at his PFF grades and you look at his tape, you're like, dude can play football. I don't care if it was Buffalo. Buffalo is
right.
It's still. A lot of these conferences are kind of evening out with all the NIL and all the transfer portal, but
yeah,
dude gets snubbed at the combine.
Oh, that pissed me off.
And goes and kills it at his pro day.
Yes.
So, and then I heard an interview with him, and I'm like, okay, this dude.
He's all football, man. And the only thing that I can find that you really can knock him on is maybe his size. He's just a little undersized.
Well,
but he can hit see ball, hit ball. He does it at a high rate.
Yep.
Which a lot of people say, okay, if that's what he does, maybe he can't cover. Really? He had 5 interceptions in one season, so the dude can cover. I think you instantly bring him in as a special teams ace. I think he absolutely excels in that role.
I do too. I do. Yeah.
And I think that's maybe how he gets his foot in the doors on special teams. And I think once they see how he plays, his intensity, his full game, I just don't know how they keep him off the field. I think they have to find a spot because I don't think Omar Spates is special.
No,
I like Chris Paul. Who's the other linebacker? Is it Reader? My brain's
Reader. I'm sorry, Trey Reader.
Sucks. He's going to get hurt.
He's nothing special either. So,
and Landman was in and out of the lineup all last year because him and Anderson rotated. So it's very doable to get past all these guys.
I kind of mentioned it. I think Sean Dolak is my he'll I die on player. Right? I mean, no, I just don't know how you keep him off the field in LA. The situation's there, the talent's there. Maybe you have to be patient and wait a half a year to a year, but I think it's happening for him. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
So yeah, I mean, if you look at if you look at his PFF grades between the regular season and the postseason, looking at linebackers who played 50% of the team's at least 50% of the team's defensive snaps within this draft class. He had a 91.9 overall grade, a 90.3 run defense grade, a 91.5 tackling grade. His worst grade was his pass rush grade, which was an 84.2. His coverage grade was a 92.6. And I know people are going to say, well, it was probably the competition. I'm like, I don't care what the competition is. It's still football. He had a high. I mean,
exactly.
He was the number 1 graded linebacker over Simon, Paul. Higgins. Obviously, we know what happened with Higgins, but Demetrius Knight. He was graded higher than Demetrius Knight, graded higher than Jihad Campbell, so graded higher than Schlesinger. So dude can play football. And like I said, I fell in love with him, and then as soon as I saw his tape, and then I saw him at his pro day and his interviews, I'm like, all right. I mean, I have to also, in my ranking, I'd love to rank him higher, but you also have to be realistic and say, okay, this guy is actually, where do I have him ranked? Actually, I do have him ranked.
Well,
I have him ranked 34. I think I have him ranked 34th overall, and I have him as my LB12. Okay. So, okay. Pre-draft, I had him as my LB5, but it's like, I don't know, maybe I do bump him, but
see, I'm not. See, you say that, and I'm not. I don't feel bad at having it at 15 because you said pre-draft you had him at your LB5.
Yeah, so pre-draft LB5.
So this is post-draft. So I kind of do one right after the season ends before we do anything draft-wise. I do a draft or big board. Then I do one pre-combine. I do one post-combine. I do one post-draft, and then I do one later. Right now, my post-draft, I have Schlesinger as 1, Campbell as 2, Buchanan as 3, Nick Martin as 4, Stutzman as 5, and I have Sean Dolak as my 6th linebacker. Even though I've got him at 15 overall, he's my 6th linebacker. And I don't hate that. I've got Demetrius Knight at 7 at 16. I think they're...
you can argue any of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I got Nick Martin.
He's a hill down guy. So
I'm like, I've got Nick Martin in my LB4. But no, I've got you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I got Dolak behind Walker. I think I'm going to put Dolak above Walker. I kind of hate myself now for having Dolak behind Walker. I kind of hate myself a little bit. But no,
I really don't hate that.
I'm all for. I think Dolak is probably going undrafted, so you're pretty much like, if you've got a roster clogger on your dynasty league, get rid of him and pick up Sean Dolak.
You think of it, and it doesn't really matter the format, offense, defense, right? It doesn't matter. If it's a mixed league, it doesn't matter how many players you start at each position. It doesn't matter what your scoring is. None of that matters. They are leagues where none of that matters, and it's typically late July, August, where and there's nothing. I'm not bashing people. I'm just saying it's a fact. It happens where mid July to August, fantasy drafts, especially redrafts, I think, are just freaking hammering down, and people have no clue, and they're saying, "Okay, who got drafted where?" And that's what I'm going with. And I think Sean Dolan is going to be the steal of your rookie draft. Pick him up.
I think so too. Like I said, I think he's probably going to go undrafted because, I mean, if it's a 5 or 6 round mixed, he's probably going to go undrafted more than likely. But I have no problem if you're going to take a flyer on him at the 5th or 6th round. If all of those, I mean, if you got, I mean,
it's just a shot as anybody else.
If you're looking at, 5th or 6th round, you're looking at who's available. Say, you're probably looking at maybe Jeffrey Bossa, who I don't really like, or you're looking at some of these guys, or Barrett Carter, Jeffrey Bossa. I'm taking a shot on Dolak all day over all those guys.
I would take him over Small Munden.
Yeah, I would too. I liked him. I don't like the Eagles landing spot. I think he's going to get buried, unfortunately, because I think Munden was a better linebacker than Jalen Walker.
I do too. I would take him over Bossa, like you mentioned. I would take him over Carter. We already talked about Chris Paul. I'm going
to throw out two names at you.
Jack Kaiser.
Okay.
Yep, Kaiser and Cody Lindenberg.
I don't know much about Cody Lindenberg, if I'm being honest.
Skill-wise, player-wise, what they can do, I would take Dolak.
The fits are good.
But Jack Kaiser in Jacksonville,
it feels like a next year play, but
it's a sneaky good landing spot in Jacksonville.
Yes, it is.
At least
I know
two
they
of those
got
guys are out next year.
what's his name? I can't remember. I know his name, but I can't never say it. Remember it. Olafukon.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I know he's there, but you got to NFL wise, you're playing the long game, right? You're looking ahead because of contracts and injuries and all this. So I love the fit just because Jacksonville kind of freaking sucks, and I love it. I hope they always freaking suck.
Unbiased.
Yeah, absolutely, it's unbiased. I call them Sucksonville.
Yeah.
The landing spot for Kaiser gives me pause on Dolak a little bit if I'm having to choose.
Yeah.
But not by much. I mean, I think that's a coin flip. But and in a coin flip situation, Dolak wins out because he's way more talented, way more skilled.
Yeah. Kaiser was an interesting one. I think Kaiser was a sneaky athletic guy. Looked to have sneaky athleticism. I saw a good linebacker, and then I saw his RAS score. I'm like, wow, that really. Mm-hmm. Once I saw the RAS score, that caused. All right, I'm going to look at him a little bit more, and I again, kind of he looked sneaky quick, but
right.
But no, I'm with you. I think I'm all in on Devin Lloyd as a breakout contract year guy because they didn't pick up his 5th year.
He's out. Yeah.
Ooh, I love that.
So I'm all in on Devin Lloyd as a breakout contract year player and making and trying to make some money.
Big money somewhere else. Yeah.
So, and I think
Muma's gone.
And I think Lloyd fits in to Campanel's defense a little bit better than Oluokon. I mean, when I did some projections and when I'm doing my overall rankings, I have Oluokon maybe in that 2nd or 3rd tier. I think his numbers kind of take a little bit of a hit. I'm not going to say Devin Lloyd's going to wear the dot, but it wouldn't surprise me if Devin Lloyd wore the dot this year.
And Lloyd has a little bit more upside as a pass rusher, I think.
Yeah, and I think he's a better run defender, and I think Campanel he wants to improve the run defense, and I think he's a better run defender. So
as long as they don't do that weird rotation they did last year, I
don't think so either. I don't think Nielsen's out, so I'm not anticipating any of that. So like I've got Lloyd. He's projected to be, as far as total points goes in my projections, I think I have him as the LB9. I mean, okay. I'm like I said, I'm believing in the contract year, 50-year snub that he's going to go out and he's going to make himself some money this season.
So I'm right there with you on that. And the other guy that wasn't picked up was Quay Walker. I don't know what to do with him yet. But yeah, back to Jacksonville. Lloyd, I expect him to ball out, get a big contract somewhere else. Muma.
Yeah, I think Muma's a free agent at the end of this year. So
I'm pretty sure he's out too.
I don't see him being re-signed. But Cody Lindenberg was a guy.
He's at the Raiders, right?
Yeah, he got drafted with the Raiders, and if you look at the Raiders depth chart,
it's Devin White season.
See, I feel that because I was talking about Kaiser. I kind of feel like the same thing with Lindenberg and not Oakland, Vegas. Sorry.
Vegas.
I kind of feel like it's kind of the same thing, right? A great landing spot. But I think out of the three, Dolak, Kaiser, Lindenberg, I kind of feel like he takes a backseat talent-wise. I think he's – I don't want to say –
a high IQ guy. Lindenberg's a high IQ guy, and I think he can earn a spot with special teams. He's probably going to be a special teams guy, but he's one of those guys that even though I've got a Landon Roberts as like a breakout, I think he's the 10th year breakout finally. But I think Landon Roberts kind of has a full-time role finally.
I think so too.
But it would not surprise me though if Lindenberg had a role mid-season. I just think I think Carroll likes the vets, so it wouldn't surprise me if Roberts got a full-time role, called the plays. I think Carroll's going to see, okay, Devin White is not good anymore, so I guess I won't play him. But no, I definitely liked. I think Lindenberg, again, one of those sneaky good landing spots, probably a post-draft waiver wire pickup. Again, if you've got a couple of those roster cloggers that aren't, you don't think are going to pan out. Like if I'm still sitting on Channing Tindall right now, I'm dropping Channing Tindall for Sean Dolak or someone like that. That's what I'm talking about, a roster clogger, someone like Channing Tindall.
I would say another
Tony
thing
Fields, or if you're in a deeper league, you got Tony Fields, Muhammad
Diabate. I had so much high hopes for Tony Fields. I had so much high hopes for him.
He's actually there in LA with Dolak.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
I think so too. I think that sounds about right.
But I'd say another thing that Kaiser and them have over Dolak is their teams start two linebackers more often than say the Rams.
Yes. Yeah, the Rams.
I think that hurts him a little bit to get there maybe this year.
So let me ask you a question. A good point there, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
So I got one. I can write it down.
No, well, you said they only start two linebackers. We saw at safety a lot of teams choose to start three safeties, right? The big nickel, three safety set. Don't you kind of feel like the only reason they're starting two linebackers is because they don't have really good linebackers, so they're forced to try to make up for it in other areas?
I'm good with that theory. That's kind of one of the theories I have because the Rams have kind of been, but even when
Jones,
when they had Wagner and Bobby Jones, or not Bobby Jones, even when they had Wagner and Ernest Jones, Wagner was still the one. Ernest Jones was still about a 60% snap guy until Wagner, and for that 1 year, and I know, that might have been Jones' second year, so they still played to Jones only about 60% in that year. So they do a lot of single linebackers, a lot of dimes. So that
right.
Which is a shame because they got such a good young line in front of them.
Yeah.
Again, I wish that's where Nick Bolton had went. I wish he'd hit free agency, went to LA, and just tore it up. I think he would have. I would have put Bolton back in my top 5.
I think.
But in KC, now he's a.
I think Kansas City. I don't know if you would get them to admit this. I think they would like to move on from Bolton. Maybe cost.
Contracts as always.
Well,
he's a great football player. He's not getting enough.
And I think the price tag was there. I think you maybe could upgrade over Bolton in some areas, but I don't think the option to do that was ever there. So they said, well, hey, we better go ahead and lock this guy up now. Because if we don't, somebody else is.
Oh, yeah, he was getting paid somewhere.
Yeah. We were talking with Mason Steve last week. We're talking with Mike Woellert tonight. And I've got a name here that I'm not hearing a lot of from anybody. We've not mentioned his name tonight. If we mentioned it last Friday, I think it was briefly. I'm looking at the ADP draft board that I have, and he is currently I lost it. Oh, there he is. He's currently going at 80 overall in rookie. 80th pick, which if you're doing on an average, I always say an average of 14 teams is average. So 80 divided by 14, you're looking at late fifth round, 5.7. So late fifth, early sixth at best. I kind of like the landing spot. They've had some veterans the past couple of years that just hasn't kind of worked out. They've got a young guy who I really like, who's done well. They just gave him a new contract. I did some really good digging on him with one of my Draft Dreamer articles. But I'm curious to your all's thoughts on Landon Jackson in Buffalo.
So Buffalo still does the rotation. I think Rousseau is probably the only guy that has, I guess, like a full-time role.
Right. A safer role, yeah, for sure.
I didn't like his I think his Oklahoma State tape wasn't great. I think he ended up with a 56-1 pass rush grade. I think he only had a 10% win rate, but Dalton Cooper locked him up for the most part all game. So I mean, if that's what he's going to show against kind of NFL level competition,
it's not
kind of gives me pause. That kind of gives me a little bit of pause. I mean, Cooper, I don't think he allowed a sack in his pass block snaps, but had better tape against Tennessee. Has a good swipe, has good hands. Honestly, he's probably not somebody that I will come away with. Probably not somebody I'm going to be coming away with in most drafts. So if he's going 80th, if I'm looking at, probably by 80, I'm hoping to have, I'm hoping to have maybe JT Tuiamoaloa.
Right.
But I like the guys past Jackson more. I like Josiah Stewart. I like Sawyer. I like Princely. I like Swinson. So I like the guys post Jackson a little bit more.
Yeah, like you said, with Buffalo, that's kind of their MO. The Sean McDermott way is to rotate those guys, and they rotate them, all of them, interior, edge rushers, all of them. And it's quite a bit of talent in front of him, too. Brought in Bosa. Epenesa's still there. Michael Hoyt is suspended for 6 games or something, but still, there's enough guys there that I don't see Jackson doing much of anything this year, and even down the road, I think he's always going to be depth for rotation.
But actually, Hollywood, I'll ask you about.
Thanks, Mike, for pointing out his success against Tennessee.
I'm so glad you heard that. I was going to see if we could get him to repeat
it. But speaking of Tennessee, what do you think of Oladejo?
I thought that was
what's his name.
I thought that was a huge reach.
Right.
Huge reach for.
Now, did they take him in the second? Did they take him in the second or the third?
Second.
Yeah, because I know he's still a little bit raw. I think he moved from off ball to edge.
And he did it kind of like mid-season last year. So if you look at some of his early tape, you're kind of like, well, I don't know he's better at linebacker, and he kind of is. But when you look at later in the season, you're like, I don't know why he made the move, but he's so raw, right?
Yeah.
The potential's there. He's so raw. I like Tennessee's thought because you just let Harold Landry walk.
Right. Right.
Probably your best pass rusher is Arden Key.
Yep.
And if that's your best pass rusher, you're in some freaking trouble, right?
May as well start him.
Did you see this? Did you watch the Senior Bowl? Because he had a pretty good Senior Bowl.
He did, but I thought it was way too early for him.
Yeah.
Especially when you had players such as,
I think, did he go ahead of Green?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. No, I agree with your assessment that he was. I thought I had him tabbed as a late day 2, early day 3.
Right.
I think he was. I like you said. I think he was raw. Definitely, the tool. Need to develop some moves, but I mean, he transitioned from off ball, so of course you're going to have that. But I mean, he's a really good athlete. So, but I had him as a late day 2, day 3 pick. So,
I just thought the position was so deep.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it in this. We talked about it last week. I just felt like the position was so deep. There was not a need to reach there. I would have took a Jack Sawyer over him in a heartbeat. Yeah. Absolutely, without question. I would have took. Let me look here. I would have probably took Nick Scowerton over him. I would have probably even took Sawyer Steena, JT Tuamalo. I would have probably took him there.
Yeah.
I just felt like this class was so deep, you didn't have to reach there.
Yeah.
And I felt like even though edge rusher was a huge need, right now is not the time to be getting cute with project players. Tennessee's overall depth sucks. So you need players.
Starters are not good.
Hey, I'm just telling the truth. I mean, you need players that can make an impact right away, not players that you have to kind of wait and develop. I didn't really mind the pick. I just thought it was way too early, and they were better players still on the board.
Yeah. So it looked like Scowerton went the pick before Tennessee. But then after Oladejo, you had, I mean, they could have gone Trey Harris. I know we're talking IDP, but Trey Harris, I think, Tennessee always seems to need a wide receiver. But Jack Besh, but yeah, Green went 59th, so went after.
Yep.
They could have drafted Norman Lott, to go along maybe with
don't get him started on that.
Simmons.
Oh, hell,
no, this was a crazy deep defensive line edge rush class.
And I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I think there was in my opinion there was a clear top 3. I think the clear top 3, and maybe you'll disagree, and that's fine. But I think the clear top 3, in my opinion, were Carter, Ezeraku, and Green.
I would say Carter, Ezeraku, and Pierce.
Okay.
I think Green. I think Green would be my 4th. I think.
Okay. But after maybe those 3 or 4, I mean,
yeah,
5 through 15 are total. Are a total, I'm not going to say crapshoot, but I think you can make arguments for pretty much any of those guys, 5 through 15, maybe even 5 through 20. Because when you have someone like Braden Swinson, I think drafted in the 5th round, and he was, I want to say he was top 5 in total pressures generated, and he plays in the SEC. So that's NFL talent that you're going against. When you can get, when Braden Swinson goes in the 5th round, this is a crazy deep edge rush class.
Yeah. Another name that we've not mentioned, and I don't really hate the pick per se, but we talk in fantasy offense, defense, we talk a lot about landing spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you can be the best damn player, but if you hit the wrong landing spot, as far as depth chart maybe fit, you're fucked, right?
Yeah, we've seen it way too many times.
So I'm gonna go back to Los Angeles again, the Rams.
Okay.
And you mentioned his name, Josiah Stewart. I don't understand. I like the player, right? If it's the Josiah Stewart that we saw early in his college career at Coastal Carolina, where he just tore up the league, I love it. Now he went to Michigan, wasn't quite the same player, but he didn't play the same role, right? He wasn't a true outside edge rusher early on. I think they tried to transition there last year. They tried to put him back out there. Excuse me, and he did better. But what was it? I'm not touching him in IDP. You've got Byron Young. You've got Braden Fisk. You've got Jared Verse. You've got, oh my God. Yeah, Kobe Turner. That's your front four right there.
Hey, they got to have a rest.
Where does Stewart
have a rest? Stewart's going to come in there. He's going to get a rotational job. He's going to fill in fine. Dude, I love what the Rams are doing with their
defense. But I don't think his in fantasy
IDP. It's not great, but
he's not going to get enough reps to even be relevant. Really, I mean, it's going to take an injury, I think, for him to even. I just don't see the clear. It would be different if you had an Aaron Donald still on the team who's had 8, 10, 12 years in the league, or you had, some of these older guys. They don't have old guys. They had youngsters, year 2 and 3 coming up. And you go back to the well with Stewart. I think they could have. I think their team had other needs than that.
Like linebacker.
And this is a deep class. So I hate that for Stewart. I don't think he's a horrible player. I'm not saying that. I just hate the freaking landing spot, and I'm not touching him at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I think there was one. Yeah, the one there was a couple of games that it was the USC game really freaking stood out. I mean, he had the left tackle in a blender. There was one play where he got off the snap so quick the left tackle was still in his stance. And he was already by him. And he's just getting out of his stance and he's already gone. I think what LA is doing is they're just building a freaking
wall.
Yeah, pass rush. Yeah, I think they see what Philly did to Kansas City, and they're like, we're just gonna do that, and we're just gonna send everybody that we can at the quarterback. Yeah. But no, I get
that, but Philly's a little bit different though, because Philly's got, they had Fletcher Cox, they had Brandon Graham, they had Josh Sweat.
They didn't. I don't think they had Cox last year, did they?
No, he was gone last year. Graham.
I'm just saying, over the last couple of years, they've had some older guys.
Yeah,
where you can see you want to get younger. The Rams, I don't see where you want to get younger. You're as young as you can be and as talented as you can be right now with those front four. And I don't know who does. Taking Stewart, where do you see he's got to be a backup, right? He's not better than Young. He's not better than Fisk. He's not better than Turner, and they play on the inside. He's not better than Jared Verse. Jared Verse is a freaking beast.
Mm-hmm. He becomes a rotational guy where you just don't have as big a drop off when the studs are out. So I mean, it's like for NFL. Outside of fantasy football, like, it's fantastic. I really love what LA is doing out there with that defensive line. It's great. I see your concerns for IDP and all, but
right,
he could carve out several sacks. He could be a good plug and play. And if an injury does happen, Byron Young, I think, has had a little bit of injuries.
And Young is 27. He's an older
guy.
He's
an older guy. That's true.
He's a little older.
So, and I think he's a free agent at the end of 26. So, I kind of see it. It might be one of those things where you maybe, you kind of wait, maybe wait a year or two. But I think he's going to I don't know. I think he factors into the rotation, like you said, and I think he might be. I think he might be a Young replacement. But yeah, I think he's, like I said, I was surprised to see Young at 27 on his rookie contract. So
yeah.
But no, Stewart's explosive, good win rate. I think he did get held up. I think he did get kind of held up against Texas, but I think Texas, Kelvin Banks was is a good tackle. They had pretty good tackles there in Texas. So I think a lot of people struggled against Texas, but again, somehow Jalen Walker got 3 sacks. But I think, like you guys said, I think he kind of ran it. I think he kind of ran into him. I don't think it was anything that was, like.
That defense was so loaded, they just kind of forced it his way.
Yeah, like the sacks I saw, I'm
he didn't go get the sacks. They ran into him.
Okay, got him. Okay, they weren't like, they weren't like the one that I saw from, I think Josiah Stewart. He didn't get the sack, but he just blew by the tackle. But there was one sack that Ezeraku got held up, used a bull rush, spun off the tackle, chase the quarterback down from behind. So those are the things you kind of want to see. That's talent. That's traits.
We can't bank on luck every game.
Yeah. So, it's like I said, I am more than willing to go down with the ship and saying Jalen. I can't wait. Those two guys I'm going to be really watching, and I'm also going to because I'm hoping by like year 2, I'm either going to be doing my victory laps. I'll just be like, all right, I got these guys totally wrong. I got these guys. Those are two guys that if they don't pan out, I will be victory lapping.
Yes, I'm with you because, like I said, when I sent you my draft this morning and I saw your comment go, oh, wow, Mikael Williams and Walker, and I was like, oh shit, what did I do? And then I was like, oh, phew. And I'm with you. I think I'm either completely wrong or I'm completely right. If I'm right, I'm right behind you, dude. We'll parade down Main Street because I don't think there's an in between with either one of them.
No, there isn't, and I will be more than willing to say, hey, I got these guys wrong. They produced in the NFL. I just didn't see it. If you look at Michael Williams' production, I think he ended up with about a 10.6% pressure rate. His win rate got worse. I think his pressure rate and his win rate got worse in the playoffs. People are saying, oh, he's playing on a hurt ankle. I'm like, okay, well, his 2023 wasn't really any better. It's pretty average in 23. So, I went back and looked at 23. I said, okay, something there. If he produces, I hate to say, I hate to bake in excuses already. If he produces, he has the benefit of playing alongside Nick Bosa.
Yes. Which for him is kind of what he did at Georgia, right? You had stars opposite you that was kind of funneling, force feeding it to you.
Yeah. But Jay Higgins, I'm hoping, but I don't know. I still am not. I'm still holding out hope for Jay Higgins. Something tells me Jay Higgins it's going to take a few zip codes because I don't think he's going to do anything in Baltimore. I think it's going to take him a few spots to do. Yeah, something.
I don't like the fit. I don't like the fit as far as the scheme. I don't like the fit because of the depth chart. I think there's a roadblock there. We've kind of talked about some teams doubling down Atlanta since Cincinnati, but I want to go back to Atlanta. So they doubled down on edge rushers, right?
Yep.
And this really blows my mind because at safety you've got probably one of the top 3, 4 fantasy safeties.
Top 5 safeties, yeah.
Yeah, Jesse Bates. And then you come out and you get Xavier Watts, and then you come back and get
was it Bowman?
Billy Bowman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, maybe Billy Bowman kind of grows into transitions to linebacker, maybe.
I'm thinking slot.
But
I know Alfred's still there.
You know what? I will be honest. Billy Bowman was not someone who was really on my radar, so I really didn't watch a whole lot of him. So,
well, them being in the SEC this year, I got to see a little bit more of them than normal.
Yeah.
he played well. I don't think he's anything special.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a head scratcher that they kind of doubled down on safety. You don't see teams double down on positions twice in one draft. Not really.
Right.
So clearly, to me, the message was we had to fix our defense. We had to upgrade pass rushers, and then on the back end at safety.
If I'm the Falcons, I might play Walker more off ball just because I think that's where the need is.
Right.
But right now, I think they've got. I think the also they listed Diablo as the second linebacker opposite Ellis.
I would think so. Brought him in,
but no, I think I watched maybe a little bit of Bowman and just nothing really stood out to me on him. So I like Watts. I think he was even called Jesse Bates 2.0. So I mean, I think I wouldn't surprise me if he started out for Fuller right away. I mean, Fuller is fine. He didn't sign a starter worthy contract, so I wouldn't be surprised if Watts outplayed him over the course of the offseason and got a starting role.
Yeah, and Watts is currently the third safety off the board. So it starts Imanware. They're going 39 and 40, and then Watts is coming off at 63. So I would take that value.
That's a good value. That's a good value.
Yeah. Is there anybody we've not mentioned that you want to bring up, or?
No, I think we covered quite a bit. I guess one more because you have him high, and again, I probably am going to go back and watch him now post draft because I'm seeing his name a little bit more. Sanker Sanker in New Orleans. I mean, I saw New Orleans, and because I've never seen a Saints safety score high, so that's kind of why I'm, I guess, a little bit of pause, and I didn't really see a whole lot of Sanker, so I don't know. What do you see that maybe I need to go back maybe and see?
I've not seen a whole lot of him. I felt like it was more of the landing spot. Right?
Landing spot's pretty good.
I mean, like I mentioned a while ago, landing spot is huge in fantasy, and I felt like maybe not the best safety, but the opportunity's there. And sometimes just opportunity is so good that you kind of have to say, okay. I kind of like what little bit I've seen of him. I kind of like what I see. I just think the landing spot with New Orleans, especially with them taking him as high as they did, I kind of tells me a lot. So, I think they're trying to rebuild their defense too. Right? We talked about Stutzman at linebacker, now Sanker at safety. Maybe not this year, but it could be late season. Weeks 14 through 17, where we really see rookies start to find their way or get their opportunity. But yeah, I think he's a taxi squad stash for
sure. And then one more in New Orleans, Fadil Diggs.
I really didn't know what to do with him. I mean, when you watch his tape with Syracuse, he was either, how do I want to say it? He was either really freaking good at times, just kind of, I don't want to say unblockable, but he had those traits, right? He had a few games where he just wrecked the game.
Yeah.
And then you turn it on the next week and you're thinking, okay, similar competition, probably the same result, and he just freaking disappeared.
Yeah.
So I kind of didn't know. I hate ranking players like that because I especially when I've not watched a ton of them, I don't know. Am I getting Jekyll or am I getting Hyde?
Right.
And those type of players, they scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
if you're drafting on potential, then yeah, I think he has some pretty good upside. If you're drafting on floor, I don't know. I don't because he just disappears at times. It's truly a Jekyll and Hyde type player for me.
Oh, one final player for both of you. Probably the most polarizing player, I think, of the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Shamar Stewart.
I seen he was sitting out, holding out. Did you see that?
I meant to mention this earlier. Yes. I mean, you're a rookie, and he said, I didn't want to sign that contract, but I hate sitting on the sideline. You couldn't speak out both sides of your ass in one sentence at the same time if you tried. Tell me I'm wrong.
Knight's sitting out too. But I thought I saw them on the field. I think they had like an insurance thing or something.
Shamar Stewart. Where do I have him? So Shamar Stewart's going 53 in rookie drafts, 53 overall.
There's a lot of athleticism there, but
not a lot of production.
Yeah,
not a lot of production. So
but you can get Ezeraku at 57. Really? Stewart at 53 or Ezeraku at 57. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Really?
Stewart,
I mean, come on, people. What do y'all do? Or you can, let's say, you can get a Jack Sawyer at 83, a Nick Scowerton at 70. Stewart,
I'm passing.
Stewart is going to be a good case study on traits over production because he's either going to be Danielle Hunter or he's going to be Aaron Curry. And if you remember Aaron Curry,
I do. Oof.
So because Danielle Hunter, Danielle Hunter, I think was a third or fourth, same kind of production, 4.5, 5.5 sacks over the course of a career. So So I think you're hoping for Danielle Hunter, but you can.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I
don't.
Too,
yeah,
I don't think I don't think I want to.
I'm
taking Walker over Stewart.
I'll give you an analysis my grandpa used to say.
Okay.
You can hope in one hand and you can shit in the other. I kind of think that's, maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you. But I'm not, I'm like Sean. I don't think I touch him in any form or fashion in IDP rookie drafts. I don't get it. Yeah.
There was one play, I think it was against South Carolina. He got such a jump off the snap. He used the running back as a battering ram into the quarterback.
yes, he did.
I'm like, geez.
He's a good player. He has some upside, but I kind of like the fit in Cincinnati, right? Because Sam Hubbard retired. You've got the Trey Hendrickson contract. Yeah. So I can kind of see the fit, right? It's kind of the long game. You're trying to stay ahead of your issues as a team. So I get it, but
Cincinnati keeps drafting edge rushers. The
coaches are gonna be tested, I think, with him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
but
it's not a terrible spot to land, but like I say, man, with all the traits he's got, and for him to have so little production to show for it,
it's unreal. It's like he should have. He should be a 10 sack guy with his athleticism and his traits.
Yeah.
Now, in his defense, at Texas A&M, they're kind of loaded, right?
Defensive line. He was. Scowerton got a lot of, scooped up a lot of things, and I think. They got
a lot of young guys, and they brought in some guys. So there's.
But 4.5 in 3 years.
that's
if he averaged 4.5 per season, that would be one thing. But 4.5 over 3 seasons.
Hell, Jalen Walker fell into 3, right?
Yeah, one game. Yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff, Mike. Thanks for joining us, man. You're welcome back anytime. You just tell me or Sean, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, you can reach out to me. I don't think you have to be muted on Twitter or nothing. So
Yeah.
Like I said, Hollywood, I had to mute you during the Tennessee game, but then, like I said, your trash talk, I had to get out of my timeline because I was like, this victory over Tennessee is going to be so sweet.
Alcohol.
Why you got to rub it in my face? Why? Why you got to rub it in my face, man? Ah, jeez, I don't need this abuse.
Now, are you just a volunteer? I mean, obviously you're a huge volunteer fan. Did you go to Tennessee, or are you just a Tennessee fan?
He lives.
I'm not smart enough to go to Tennessee, so thank you for even suggesting such a scenario. But
I don't know. You go hard like you were not like you're an alum. I'm like, damn, did he?
Hey, that's what we do down here, right? I mean, It doesn't matter if we're an alum or not. We represent with the fire and the passion that it deserves. And if you give anything less than 150%, we don't care if you're a Tennessee fan. We'll kick your ass to the curb if you don't meet the standards.
Oh, I get that. No, I got
softball.
But no, I'll try to go back if I can find it. Like I said, I think I thought I tagged you after the game.
Well, I don't need you to retag me. So
with the Swift Ohio and Ohio Stadium.
Yeesh.
If I find it, I'll just share the screenshot with you.
Nice.
Absolutely. Thanks. So tell everybody what you're doing, where you're working at, what you got going on, what you got coming up.
Everything. I'm doing a little bit of things with the IDP show, and I'm also doing some things on my own. So you'll find all of my projections. You'll find the Green Dot article, other articles, rankings, and everything with the IDP show. But got my own Substack, Mike Woellert.substack, where I'm doing a bunch of different things. So I'm writing what I want to write about as things come up. If something's interesting, I'll fire something off. If any, I'm taking suggestions from all my subscribers if there's something specific they want me to write about. But like I said, I just kind of writing about whatever. I think I rubbed some wounds. One of the first things I wrote about was Diane Henley's goose egg in week 17, and everybody's like, dude, why do you have to relive that? He cost so many people championships in that week, and I just had to revisit it. I just had to relook at it and see what in the hell happened. But yeah, I did a lot of draft profiles. I mean, those are still relevant. I got my top 75 rookies, broke them out into tiers, got my favorite undrafted free agents and some day 3 targets. But yeah, I'm at the IDP show, and again, Mike Woellert.substack, where I'm kind of doing my own thing as well.
Nice.
Awesome, man. Feel free to send anything that you're doing. Send it my way. Tag me on it. I'll be more than happy to share it and spread it out. If you're not part of our Discord, go over and join the Discord. We got a self-promotion page. We'd love to have you over there. And on that Discord, we discuss everything from high school football all the way down to the NFL.
Yep.
There's some other subgenres: baseball, basketball, humor, music, whatever. So check that out.
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Yeah, we get into some wrestling stuff. It's just a good time, man. Thanks for joining us. I was ecstatic when you reached out and said, "Hey, do you need a guest?" And I was like, "Boy, do I!"
It's nice. I'm over the next couple of weeks. I think I'm doing something with Macri over the next couple of weeks. So I'm like,
nice.
I just want to. Nice. I'm writing, but I'm like, I just want to kind of talk. I'm ready to just friggin'.
It's so much easier to talk than it is to write.
I know, right?
I've got notes. Notes look better for me. They don't look good on a page for everybody else to read because they're like, wow, this guy's everywhere.
I'm trying to get Sean to write because he's not bad at it. He's really good, and he's in redraft, which is not something I do. So I try to get him to do it all the time. But I'm kind of finding the same thing, right? Like, I love writing articles. I really do, because I start doing research and I'm digging into things and I do spreadsheets I really love writing,
Yeah.
but at the same time, just firing up a link and just letting
Talking.
your thoughts flow. Yes,
Yeah.
I love it. So you're welcome back anytime, man. I know it's kind of getting late. We won't keep you much longer, but whenever you want to come back, just reach out to me or Sean. Go follow him at Mike _Woellert. You can follow him at Sean T 8386. You don't want to follow me. That's probably a bad decision. But in case you want to travel down
You'll
that,
end up being Hollywood if you follow him. You'll end up doing him.
at Hollywood Titan. Thank you, Mike, for joining us. Anytime you want to come back, man, let us know. And we will see you all next week.